can never do much. Is that okay?
Yeah, all done.
Okay. First, thank everybody for coming. It's pretty overwhelming. It's wonderful to see you here, and especially because the last 10 or 11 days have not been exactly easy. I had gotten to 70 pretty much unscathed, and I think God noticed that and said, hey, wait a minute, it's 70. So he gave me a little reminder. And I learned a couple of things from that that I might talk about just for a minute or two to share that with you. And the first thing is that anybody who gets to 70 is lucky. Right, really. And I thought about it, and it really made me think about my life. I've rolled over in a car on the freeway going 73 times, not 3 different times. But I've been held at gunpoint by Turkish soldiers in the Kaplan Palace. Okay, what else? Oh, I walked 29 miles out of the Sonoran Desert without water after I got the car stuck in a sand dune. And on a blind date once, climbed to the top of an 11,000-foot mountain in January with tennis shoes. So I've done my share of foolish things, and I'm still here. I also smoked 2 packs of cigarettes a day for 30 straight years, and lived up to the Irish cliche of trying to drink dry all the barrels of whiskey in the world. So I've been there and done that. I come from a history with heart disease. My mother and my grandmother, 2 of my brothers died of heart attacks between 65 and 53. So the fact that I'm here at all is just extraordinary. And it means so much more to see you today, because I can see you today. The other things that occurred to me, and these are somewhat random, but they matter, maybe. When you're in the hospital, I'm sure many of you have been in the hospital and you're suffering, and I was on Dilaudid, which is like more powerful than morphine, and it wasn't working. You think of the people who are in that hospital with the same level of pain who aren't going to go home in 2 days, who aren't going to get better in a week. And to think of the courage and whatever depth of resources you need to deal with that. It chastened me. I thought about what that means at some point. And that made me feel so lucky again.